It started with silence. Not the quiet, comfortable kind, but the loud, empty kind. The kind that tells you something is wrong. There was no invitation in my mailbox, no save the date on my fridge, no casual mention of a wedding date over the phone. I wasn't invited to my own sister's wedding. Not as a bridesmaid, not as a guest, not even as an afterthought. I found out the way you find out about everything these days, through other people's happiness on social media. I sat alone in my small apartment, staring at a single, cold link in my email. My sister, Madison, had sent it 2 days before her big day. The subject line was blank. The body of the email had one sentence, if you want to watch. That link was supposed to be a kindness, I guess. A last-minute concession. But it felt like a slap in the face. It felt like being told to press my nose against the glass of a fancy restaurant while my family feasted inside. That should have been humiliating enough. That should have been the end of the story. But what happened on that live stream? The moment the screen froze and the pretty picture shattered? That changed everything. Before we dive into the chaos, if you could do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel, it would mean a lot. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. It's nice to feel like someone is actually listening. Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm 29 and I'm a graphic designer. I live in a quiet apartment, I pay my own bills, and I like my life simple. I come from a family that is the opposite of simple. We're from Texas, and in my family, image is everything. How things look on the outside is more important than how they feel on the inside. And in my family, there were always 2 pictures. There was Madison, and then there was me. My younger sister, Madison, was the golden one. That's what my dad called her. She was the one who got all the light. High school cheer captain, prom queen, the girl with the perfect smile and the easy laugh. She was what my mom called bride material. She was born to be the center of attention. Me? I was just the quiet one in the corner. The one who read books instead of going to parties. The one who learned early on that the easiest way to get through a family dinner was to not say much. I was the one who didn't fight back. I just learned to be invisible. It was easier that way. When we were little girls, sharing a room with pink floral wallpaper, Madison and I were inseparable. We made forts out of blankets and whispered secrets in the dark. She was my best friend. I was hers. But then high school happened and something shifted. It was like a switch flipped inside her. The secrets we used to share became ammunition she used against me. I started hearing things from other people. Her new, popular friends would look at me in the hallway and snicker. One day, I overheard Madison telling them, "Oh, that's just my sister, Lindsay. She's kind of plain. Basically invisible. Plain. Invisible." The words stuck to me like tar. I went home and waited for her to deny it, to say it was a misunderstanding. She just shrugged. "Lighten up, Lindsay. It was a joke." But it wasn't a joke. It was the new reality. And my parents? They didn't defend me. They didn't pull her aside and tell her to be kind. In fact, they started saying it, too, in their own way. At dinner, my dad would say, Madison got straight A's and was voted most likely to succeed. "Lindsay, you got a B in art." My mom would sigh while looking through my closet. "Honey, why don't you borrow one of Madison's dresses? You should try to look a little nicer." The message was clear. Madison was the standard. I was the disappointment. So I did the only thing I could. I left. After college, I got my own apartment in a city 3 hours away. I worked hard at a small design firm, paid my own rent, my own car insurance, my own student loans. I never asked my parents for a dime. I wanted to prove, mostly to myself, that I could exist on my own, without their approval. Meanwhile, Madison took a different path. She majored in communications, but her real focus was dating money. She was good at it. She landed Josh, a wealthy finance guy she met in her senior year of college. He was handsome, ambitious, and from a family with a name everyone recognized. My parents were over the moon. They finally had the son-in-law they could brag about at the country club. Everyone swooned over Josh. Everyone celebrated their perfect love story. And me? I was never invited to the engagement dinner. They had it at a fancy steakhouse downtown. My entire family was there, aunts, uncles, cousins I hadn't seen in years. I saw the pictures on my cousin's Instagram story. My mother, beaming with her arm around Josh. My father, raising a glass of champagne. Madison, holding up her hand, showing off a diamond the size of a small rock. I was sitting on my couch, eating takeout, watching it all on my phone. That should have been my first clue. That should have been the moment I understood where I really stood. But I made excuses for them. It was probably last minute. They know I'm busy with work. They didn't want me to have to drive all that way. I was an expert at lying to myself. The real betrayal began 6 weeks before the wedding. My parents hosted what my cousin later called a family wedding planning brunch. It was an all-hands-on-deck meeting to finalize details for Madison's big day. The guest list, the flower arrangements, the seating chart for the reception. Key family members were there to give their input. I wasn't told about it. Again, I found out on Instagram. My cousin posted a picture of the brunch table. It was beautifully set with mimosas and quiche. The caption read, "Getting everything perfect for Madison's big day. #family goals." This time, the hurt was too sharp to ignore. My hands were shaking as I picked up my phone and sent Madison a text. Me, "Hey, saw you guys had a planning brunch. Looks like it was nice." I waited. The 3 little dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, a reply buzzed through. Madison, yeah. It was mostly for people involved in the ceremony. Me, oh. I thought it was a family thing. Another long pause. Madison, we had to limit the guest list. It got really complicated. No offense. No offense. 2 words to erase the fact that my own sister, my own mother and father, had deliberately excluded me from planning her wedding. 2 words to tell me I wasn't important enough to even be in the room. No offense? My entire life in this family felt like one long, sustained offense. The final blow came 2 days before the wedding. I had resigned myself to not going. I had accepted it. I had spent weeks building a wall around my heart, telling myself it didn't matter, that I was better off without their fake smiles and empty compliments. Then an email landed in my inbox. It was from Madison. The subject line was empty. I clicked it open. Inside was just a hyperlink and a single sentence. If you want to watch. No apology. No explanation. No, I wish you could be here. Just a cold, sterile link. It wasn't an invitation. It was a dare. It was cruelty wrapped in the glitter of technology. You're not good enough to be here in person, but you can watch from the cheap seats. You can see exactly what you're missing. I should have deleted it. I should have turned off my computer and gone for a walk. But I couldn't. A dark, morbid curiosity took over. I had to see it. I had to see the show they were so proud of, the one I wasn't allowed to be in. So there I sat, on her wedding day, alone in my apartment. I was wearing a simple black t-shirt and yoga pants. On my laptop screen, a fantasy was unfolding. The live stream was professionally done, with multiple camera angles. It opened with a sweeping shot of a massive, old church, sunlight streaming through stained glass windows. White roses and lilies draped over every surface. The place was packed. I started recognizing faces. My aunts and uncles in the front row. My parents, looking proud and perfect. Extended cousins I hadn't spoken to in a decade. Neighbors from my old street. Even my old high school math teacher, for some reason. Everyone was there. Everyone except me. The music swelled. The guests stood up. The camera panned to the back of the church. And there was Madison. She was a vision in white lace. Her hair was swept up in an elegant knot. Her makeup was flawless. She looked like a princess from a fairy tale. But when the camera zoomed in on her face, I saw it. The same smirk she used to give me in the high school hallway. As she started walking down the aisle on my father's arm, she did something I'll never forget. She looked directly into the main camera, the one broadcasting to me, the outcast. And she winked. It was a tiny, fleeting gesture. No one else would have noticed it. But it was for me. It was a final, silent message. I win. You lose. You're at home in your pajamas, and I'm here, the star of the show. My stomach turned. I felt sick. All the air went out of my lungs. I wanted to slam the laptop shut, but my body was frozen. I just sat there, watching my sister live out the life my family had always wanted for her, a life from which I had been surgically removed. The priest began to speak. The camera focused on Madison and Josh at the altar. They were holding hands. Josh looked nervous, but happy. Madison looked radiant and triumphant. "We are gathered here today," the priest said, "to witness the union of Madison and Josh in holy matrimony." And then, just as he was about to get to the vows, the screen glitched. It froze on a close-up of Madison's perfectly made-up face. Then the image dissolved into a mess of colored pixels. A small, spinning circle appeared in the center of the screen. Buffering. I sighed. Of course. Even the internet connection was a disappointment. I waited, tapping my fingers on my desk. 1 minute. Passed. Then 2. I was about to give up and close the laptop for good. Then boom. The livestream cut back in, but it was all wrong. The audio was playing, but the video was still frozen. And the audio wasn't the priest's calm voice anymore. It was chaos. It was a man's voice, tight with fury. Josh's voice. What the hell is this? The screen flickered and the video feed came rushing back to life. But the scene was not the serene wedding it had been moments before. Josh stood frozen at the altar, but he wasn't looking at Madison. He was looking down at his phone, which he held in a white-knuckled grip. He thrust the phone into Madison's face. His face was bright red. Her perfect makeup was already starting to get smeared as tears welled in her eyes. Her mouth was hanging open in horror. "Josh, please," she whispered, her voice cracking. The microphone pinned to the priest's robe picked up every single, panicked word. "Please what?" Josh's voice was dangerously loud now. He threw his phone down. It clattered on the stone floor of the church. The sound echoed in the sudden, dead silence of the guests. The priest, looking terrified, took an awkward step back. My mother, in the front row, stood up, her face a mask of confusion and panic. My father looked like he was going to be sick. Someone in the background, probably the wedding planner, yelled, "Turn it off. Turn the live stream off now." And the screen went black. I just sat there, frozen. My heart was pounding in my chest. What had just happened? What was on that phone? I stared at the blank screen, the silence in my apartment now feeling heavier than ever. The perfect family picture had just been ripped to shreds, live, for everyone to see. And I had a front row seat. It took a few hours for the full story to trickle out, but the truth, when it came, was stranger than anything I could have imagined. And I was standing right in the middle of it. You see, I wasn't just a simple graphic designer. That was my day job, the one my family knew about. On the side, for the past 2 years, I had been building a small, discreet cybersecurity consulting firm. I specialized in digital forensics for sensitive legal cases. It was quiet, anonymous work. I helped lawyers and private clients uncover digital trails, deleted emails, hidden social media accounts, location data from phones. I was good at it. Very good. My clients never knew my real name. I was just a secure, encrypted email address they sent files to. Months ago, a law firm had hired my firm on behalf of a wealthy client. The client's friend had just been through a messy divorce, and the client was getting ready to propose to his girlfriend. He wanted to do his due diligence before signing a multi-million-dollar prenup. He wanted to be sure. He hired me anonymously through his lawyers to do a full digital background check on his girlfriend. I did my job. I was professional and detached. I uncovered a long-standing affair she was having with one of his own coworkers. I found deleted texts, hotel receipts paid with a secret credit card, and photos she thought she had erased. It was a clear, undeniable pattern of deception. I compiled the information into a secure, encrypted report. I sent it back to the law firm that had hired me. I billed them for my time. I closed the case and never thought about it again. I never knew the name of the client or his girlfriend. Confidentiality was everything in my line of work. Until now. Until I sat staring at a black screen, replaying the chaos at the altar in my head. Josh had been my client. Madison was the woman in the report. I never broke confidentiality. I never told a soul. I had no idea the case I worked on 3 months ago was my own sister. But the truth? The truth doesn't need help. It finds its own way out. Josh had sat on that report, maybe hoping it wasn't true. But right before he said, "I do," He must have decided he couldn't live with the lie. And he used the evidence I had found to end it. For 3 days, there was only silence. Then, my phone started to explode. 42 missed calls. 17 from my mom. 12 from my dad. 10 from Madison, from a number I didn't even have saved. The rest were from her bridesmaids, my aunts, my uncles. My phone buzzed and buzzed until I finally put it on airplane mode. They left frantic voicemails. My mother's voice was shaky, half crying, half furious. "Lindsay, call me. We need to talk. We need to figure out how to fix this. You have to fix this." Fix it? They thought I could fix it? They didn't call to apologize for excluding me. They didn't call to see if I was okay. They called because the perfect family image had been shattered, and somehow, they had traced the fallout back to me. They called because they needed something. I didn't answer a single call. I didn't listen to a single voicemail after the first one. I let them spin in their own chaos. Instead, I picked up my phone, opened my messaging app, and found Madison's number from the missed call log. I typed out a short, simple message. "Guess the guest list wasn't the only thing you forgot to vet." I hit send. Then I blocked her number. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to see them suffer. Watching them scramble, watching them beg for me to clean up a mess they had made, was enough. For the first time, the tables had turned. They needed me, the invisible daughter, the plain sister. And I wasn't there for them. I didn't gloat. I just moved on. I took the money I had been saving and officially incorporated my firm. I hired my first employee. I put all my energy into building my own life, a life they had no part in. 2 weeks later, I booked a solo trip to Oregon. I spent a week hiking through forests of giant trees and staring at the wild, gray ocean. The air was clean and cold. It felt like I could finally breathe. While I was standing on a cliff overlooking the Pacific, I took out my phone. I went through my contacts and blocked my mother's number. Then my father's. Then every last cousin and aunt and uncle who had ever made me feel small. It wasn't an act of anger. It was an act of peace. I was simply closing a door that should have been closed a long time ago. And for the first time in my life, I smiled while looking at a screen, not because it glitched, but because I didn't. I was whole. I was stable. I was free. If you've ever been the forgotten sister, the outsider, the one who was never a priority, just remember this. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means they never, ever heard you coming. Speech balloon, comment your thoughts below. Broken heart, if you have a similar story, please share it. It helps to know we're not alone. Bell, and don't forget to subscribe for more tales of silent revenge and quiet strength.